morning and welcome to State of Business, our television's primetime news bulletin. I'm Madhusha Tavapalakumar. Let's take a look at tonight's headlines first. The inaugural ceremony of National Information Technology Conference 2018 held under President's patronage. Prime Minister leaves for Norway and UK. Now the stories in detail. The inaugural ceremony of the National Information Technology Conference 2018, organised by the Sri Lanka Computer Society, was held under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena at Colombo yesterday. The Sri Lanka Computer Society organises this conference for the 36th time with the objective of improving knowledge of IT professionals and sharing the latest knowledge in the field. It is also an opportunity to promote links between local and foreign experts and firms in the IT sector. President Sirisena presented awards to the 8 most outstanding IT professionals of the year. Minister Harin Fernando and other distinguished guests were present at this event. Meanwhile, the inaugural event of the Professional Dialogue, which was organised to mark the 40th anniversary of the Urban Development Authority, was held under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena in Colombo. At present, the Urban Development Authority has been able to make the largest contribution to the national economy via the construction field while maintaining stable financial management practices based on good governance policies. This professional dialogue was organised under the theme, The History of the Past 40 Years of Urban Development Authority, the Present and the Future Journey. President Sirisena presented a memento to the chairman of the Urban Development Authority, Dr. Jagat Munasinghe, and to the Megapolis and Western Development Minister, Patali Champika Ranawaka. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe left the island this morning on an official visit to Norway and the United Kingdom. During his visit to Norway, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe will meet the Prime Minister of Norway, Erna Solberg, the chairperson of the Upper House, and the Foreign Minister. Following his visit to Norway, the Prime Minister is then scheduled to meet British Prime Minister Theresa May in London. Joining the Prime Minister on his tour will be Minister of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources Vijit Vijayamuni Soisa, MPs Kavinda Jayabardhana and Hesha Vithanage. Now let's take a look at a few cabinet decisions in brief. The Cabinet of Ministers approved the proposal presented by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe to introduce guidelines when identifying and choosing projects for state investments. The proposal to expand the eligibility of the Enterprise Sri Lanka loans to holders of NVQ Level 5, 6 and 7 certificates, small-scale animal husbandry farmers, manufacturers of goods using waste material and those establishing child protection centres was also approved by the Cabinet of Ministers. The Cabinet of Ministers granted approval to the proposal presented by Minister of Power and Renewable Energy Ranjit Simalapitiya to construct a 400 megawatt liquid natural gas power plant in Hambantota via a joint venture between the CEB and Hambantota Power Private Limited. Government Medical Officers Association has united with the Janata Vimukti Peramuna to express their strong opposition towards the Sri Lanka-Singapore Free Trade Agreement by indicating the detrimental effects it holds for the country.
Here we as a GMOA, today we met the JVP as a party of this country, as a political party. This event is one of the major events that we got the success in this story because so far the professionals were fighting against this Singapore agreement because it is detrimental to the country. But we were isolated in a way that this was categorized as a professionals problem, which is not. This is a national problem. So today we were able to keep a huge step forward by in the contribution of the JVP as a party in a policy basis, and also we were in agreement to work together wherever possible as a team and wherever possible in isolated manner to get this Singapore agreement away from this impact that it causes to the country, and also to create a national trade policy to this country so that people will feel secure that whatever the government comes to the power will have to base on a national policy, so that they will have a assurance or a feeling of security that there will be a policy that which will be representing what the people are expecting that a country should be benefited with. So therefore, today's discussion is very fruitful, and we hope to work together to defeat this detrimental agreement between Sri Lanka and Singapore.
Let's take a look at more news after this short break. Welcome back. Addressing the media at the Central Bank of Sri Lanka yesterday, Governor Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy noted that the depreciation of the rupee does not mean a collapse of the economy. Speaking further, he noted that foreign inflows are expected to increase with $1 billion long-term financing coming in from the China Development Bank, along with the government's plan to raise $500 million via a panda bond and samurai bond, in addition to $1 billion via an international sovereign bond later this year.
The attitude to the exchange rate in this country is unique because people think if the currency is depreciating, the economy is about to collapse. But is the economy about to collapse? Growth is low, but it is getting higher. The inflation is well within target. Our reserves have come down a little because of debt repayments and some intervention in the currency market, but we are anticipating $1 billion within a week from the CDB. We are hoping to raise 500 million more from the panda bond and a samurai bond. We are planning to have another ISB issuance before the end of this year. So there is plenty of money that's going to come in terms of reserves. So the reserves are okay, inflation is okay, growth is low but getting higher. So where is this economy collapse? The exchange rate has depreciated by 9%. This is true. But the real effective exchange rate is now 100. So if we are serious about increasing exports, the only way we have got into this hole in terms of debt that is now a major millstone around the economy is to increase exports so that we can repay this external debt burden. And having a competitive exchange rate is crucial. And when you have a competitive exchange rate, you stop subsidizing foreign producers at the expense of our own producers. An overvalued exchange rate, which is what we've had for years and years, which is why our imports are double our exports.
On a further note, Governor stated that it is the higher import rate and global developments that has exerted significant pressure on the exchange rate, along with the $467 million capital outflow in the context of strengthening of US dollar, but not any policy changes of the country.
What caused this pressure on the exchange rate? Was it due to the fact that we had inappropriate policies? Now, in 2015, one could argue that there was a fiscal slippage, loose fiscal policies, and accommodating monetary policy. Again, 2011, 2012, definitely large budget deficit and accommodating monetary policy, which contributed to basically the excess aggregate demand and the demand for dollars being greater than the supply. That's what happened then. This time, there has been no slippage on the fiscal. At least, fiscal performance has been broadly on track. There's been a primary surplus in the budget for only the second time since 1954 last year. And in the first 6-7 months of this year, again, there is a primary surplus. So the fiscal performance has been okay. Similarly, monetary policy, if anything, we have been on the tight side, not on the loose side. So you can't say that this pressure of outflows exceeding inflows was due to policy slippage. What happened was, because of external developments, because of US interest rate increases, because of the strength of the dollar, because of concerns about oil prices and its impact on this economy, money has gone, about $500 million has gone out of this economy. And that has put some pressure. Accommodating that demand for dollars has meant that there was insufficient supply and there was pressure on the exchange rate. But that was not triggered by loose monetary policy, not triggered by loose fiscal policy, but by developments outside the country. Exporters don't convert money, importers advance their purchases, and that creates even greater pressure on the exchange rate. And things were not helped by that very rather crude Nomura analysis, which used a very crude methodology and also indicators which did not reflect the true position of the Sri Lankan economy. And we have issued clarifying notes on that, which I hope all of you have seen, as to why we think that methodology was weak and that also that those indicators were not giving a true reflection of the Sri Lankan economy's vulnerability. I'm not saying the economy is not vulnerable. It is a vulnerable economy, but not in the way they claim. We have come to a situation through aggressive intervention in the market, through various measures taken to curtail luxury imports, that we are now in a better position of greater balance and that the pressure on the exchange rate will abate.
Let's see how the stocks performed after this short break. Welcome back. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today. The ASPI index gained 6.09 points to close at 5,813.83, and the S&P SL 20 gained 6.57 points to close at 2,969.60. The turnover was 788.3 million rupees and 24.5 million shares were traded. Next is Forex rates. With that, we are wrapping up State of Business for the day. We'll meet you tomorrow at the same time with more news. Until then, take care. Good night.